ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदम् पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं वादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Verse number 302. Very beautiful verse. I chant. Brahmanand nidhir mahabalavata ahankara ghorahina samvishtyatmani rakshate gunamayahi chandaistrivir mastakahi vikyanakhya mahasina srutimataha vichidya shirshatrayam niramulyahi mimam nidhim sukakaram dhiro anubhoktum kshama. I repeat one more time. ब्रह्मानंद निधिर महाबलवता अहंकार घोराहिना संवेष्ट्यात्मनि रक्षते गुणमयहि चंडैस्त्रिभिर्मस्तकहि विज्ञानाख्य महासेन श्रुतिमता विच्छिद्य शीर्षत्रयम् निरमूल्याहि मिमं निधिं सुखकरं धीरो अनुभोक्तुं क्षमः. See the translation. The treasure of the bliss of Brahman is enwrapped by the mighty and dreadful serpent of the ego sense and jealously guarded for its own use by its three fierce hoods, the three gunas. The wise person who destroys it by serving its three heads with the great shining sword of realization, in accordance with the teaching of the scriptures, alone can enjoy this treasure which brings bliss. See one more time, translation. The treasure of the bliss of Brahman is coiled around by the mighty, dreadful serpent of egoism and guarded for its own use by means of three fierce hoods consisting of these three gunas. Only wise men destroy it by serving its three hoods with the great sword of realization in accordance with the teachings of the Shruti can enjoy this treasure which confers bliss. Very beautiful the verse. There is a very known saying that serpent guards the treasure. Serpent is the symbol of greed. Person is like serpent. Greedy person is like a serpent. Greediness is when comes someone wants everything without giving nothing. So what greedy person does? Greedy person wants everything without paying anything. The greedy person does not want to pay any cost. That is why the person is greedy. We try to possess everything and it coils. And it also said that greedy person becomes serpent in next life. Yes, it is a saying that greedy person, because of greed, he takes next life as a snake, as a serpent. The serpent does not create its own house, own hole. Serpent enters a mouse hole and eats mouse and snakes hole. So nature of the greediness is he wants everything without paying anything. Here Sankaracharya giving a very beautiful verse. Brahmananda Nidhir Mahabalvat. Brahmanand is a greatest treasure. Brahmanand, still we know Vishayananda. Vishayananda. Ananda, happiness, which comes from objects. That's Vishayananda. We never tested what Brahmananda is. So Brahmananda is the greatest treasure, most valuable, and it should be protected. It should be, must be protected. Because everyone wants it. But we do not want to pay its cost. We pay cost to gain anything. Even small transactions is paid by us. And it is a truth. Nothing is free. You have to pay for everything. So the cost of this bliss is not action, wealth, family. We have studied in Vivekchudamani previous verses and in Upanishads also. Na prajaya, na karmena, na dhanena, tyagena ekena amritatvam manasam. What is the cost for Brahmananda? What is the cost? How can it be? It can be achieved. Shruti says, na karmana. It cannot be achieved by any action, by any deed. Na karmana, na prajaya, and it cannot be achieved by force, by military, by crowd, by family, by friends. And it cannot be achieved by money too. So these are medium. We can achieve anything in this world by power, by money, by people, by activity. Shruti says, na karmana, na prajaya, na dhanena. So what the way? Tyagena ekena amritatva manasam. If you want Brahmananda, You have to renunciate. Then the person can achieve this. That is why the Brahmanand is protected. Brahmanand is secured. The person who is not eligible cannot take this treasure. For its protection, Maya has done some special arrangements. And see, Maya is not our enemy. Maya is not our enemy. We need some purifications. We have carrying lots of impurities with us, lot of burdens. Shankaracharya says, just remove your burden, remove your impurity, and we are not ready to remove it. It has become our second nature. Anger becomes our second nature. Greediness is our second nature. Jeevhood is our second nature. These all are impurities. Again means renunciation. Renunciation what? Only ego. So it is not easily available. It is protected by ego. And here, ego is described as a snake. Snake. Brahmananda Nidhi Mahabalavata. Because treasure is most valuable. Most valuable. So its security must be imperishable. And it is. Ego is its protector. All securities can be broken, but not ego. So Shankaracharya says, ego is protector, this Brahmananda. Because the treasure is most valuable, that is why security also should be very, very tight. And its security is doing a snake. The snake has so many qualities. These qualities should have been because there is very big responsibilities. So serpent is mighty. It cannot be defeated. It is a very mighty. Because it is a direct effect of ignorance. Another word Shankaracharya is using, dreadful. Dreadful. By nature, it is very dire. It looks very horrible. So no one can dare to go its near. Another he says, this snake has three hoods. Three hoods. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. These three hoods are his powers. Sometimes it works by Sattva, sometimes by Rajoguna, and sometimes by Tamoguna. So it is not easy to control this snake. It has three powers. Rajoguna can produce ego. Tamoguna can produce ego. Even Sattuguna also can produce ego. So now we have understood what problem is. The main problem is, the root cause is ego. This is the problem. Now find out what is solution. Solution. Only solution is, you have to destroy it. You have to finish it. How? So Shankaracharya gives a way. He says, Vijnanakhya. Only way is self-realization. Self-realization, Vijnanakhya Mahasina. You take a very big sword to kill this snake. He's describing very poetic way. Like there is a snake and you have to encounter it. How? So this ego is a dire, mighty, dreadful snake, and your duty is, your job is, you have to finish, you have to cut completely. How? Only way is, you take a sword, very sharpened. Here, self-realization is Vijnanakhya. Vijnan means self-realization. It is a sword. So why this sword? One can cut it Vichidya Sirshatrayam. Three gunas. In previous verses, we studied for a seeker, you reduce your tamoguna, take support from Sat and Rajoguna. Then reduce Rajoguna, take support from the Sattaguna. And then reduce Sattaguna also, take support from pure Sattaguna. But you have to finish three of them. Vichidya Sirshatrayam Niramulya Ahi. For a seeker, Shankaracharya is giving very clearly instructions. You have to finish. Niramulya, you have to kill it. Then, Sukhakaram Dhiro Anubhoktum Kshamaha. In Upanishad, the word Dhir is very, very beautiful. Dhir means realized seeker. Realized seeker, I mean, not only realized, seeker also. Seeker plus realized. He can take decision his own way. He does not follow a crowd. He does not follow rules of the world. He decides himself. So Shankaracharya says, then having done this work, Nidhim Sukhakaram Dhiro Anubhoktum Kshama, if someone does that, then the person is eligible. Having completed this work, one becomes qualified for bliss of Brahman, bliss of absolute, bliss of without condition. Everyone wants it. We want happiness without condition. Everyone wants. Unlimited, forever. Everyone wants. But only few seekers qualify who can cut this ego, then they can enjoy this bliss of Brahmananda. So Brahma Ananda means Brahma Eva Ananda. Brahman is bliss. Bliss and Brahman is not different. Brahman and bliss are one. Unconditional, everywhere, every time. No one can separate you from the death, from the bliss of Brahman. Now, next one. यावत् वा यत् किंचित विषदोष स्मृतिरस्ति चेत् देहे कथम आरोग्याय भवेत् तद्वत् अहंतापि योगिनो मुक्त्यैः. I repeat one more time. यावत् वा यत् किंचित विषदोष स्फूर्तिरस्ति चेत् देहे कथम आरोग्याय भवेत् तद्वत् अहंता अपि योगिनो मुक्तये. The translation is, as long as there is even a trace of poison left in the body, how can one hope for complete recovery? Even so, the yogi cannot attain liberation as long as trace of egoism remains. See translation again one more time. As long as there is a trace of poisoning left in the body, how one can hope for recovery? Similarly, the effect of egoism on the yogi's liberation is not fit for this state. See, everyone, not only human beings, animals, trees, birds, creatures, everyone wants Brahmananda. Everyone wants, everyone. But the bliss of the Brahman can be achieved if you have fulfilled some conditions. Only human being can do that. Everyone can want, but they cannot achieve. Here, Shankaracharya is giving an example. If our body has any trace of poison, recovery cannot be. Poison has qualities which our body is not accept. If somehow poison has entered in our body, we have to drain it out. Then body will be healthy. Sickness is because of unwanted objects. They are in our body. So we have to remove them. Then sickness will go. Sickness is nothing, just a symptom. Just a symptom. Body does not want some things. They are inside. So we have to maintain what body want and what does not. So body does not want some things and they are inside. So this is the sickness. So sickness is the symptom. Undesirable things which are in body. So you have to completely remove. You cannot lift a single trace. Same, Shankaracharya says, similarly, yogi, yogino muktehe katham arogyaya hantapi. Same. Ahanta, ego, is like a poison. Only Mahadeva can digest poison. Only Shiva can. Shiva means realized, who know himself, who has established his center. So for them, there is no problem. They are absolutely free. So only Shiva can digest. Shiva can live with poison happily, healthy. Other not. Even in the mythological story, when the poison appears in front of the Devas and Asuras, they became so fearful. No one was able to take. Shiva realized he can digest, he can live with poison. Not everyone. If a single trace of the poison in our body can make us unhealthy. Single trace. Same here, the ego is like a poison. Like a poison. I remember the when two saints meet, when two saints meet each other and they greet each other, and their greeting system is very unique, very different from the us. When we meet and we say hi, hello, how are you? Similar, some formal question and answer. But when two saints meet, after done some formal greetings, then their question becomes, I call it in Hindi, आप स्वस्थ हैं? Now I translate it. Are you healthy? Are you healthy? In Sanskrit, very beautiful, there is a word very beautiful, swastha. Swastha. Its meaning is very deep. Swa plus stha. Swa means your nature. Swa means your being, your center, yourself. Stha means establish. Establish. Swastha means the person who has established his own nature. That person is only healthy, swasth. One saint does not ask another saint, how are you, how your body is. He does not want to know about his body, what he eats, where he sleeps, what he wears. No, it is not relevant. It does not matter. What do you think? No. Only question is very direct. स्वस्थ है? Are you healthy? Another says in reply, yes, I am swasth, I am healthy. And you? I am healthy. Ego will make us unhealthy. Ego is like a poison. It is not required with you. A single trace of ego will make you unhealthy. Katham arogyay bhavati ahantapi yogino mukta. Whoever is striving for liberation, for Brahmananda, for them, ego is like a poison. Ego, what does? Think deeply. It takes you far away from yourself and it gets you to sit somewhere else. It may be your gross body. Sometimes your ego takes you and it makes you sit with your gross body. Sometimes with subtle body. Sometimes with property, with family, friends, and enemy too. And it makes no difference where you are sitting. If you are sitting another than your nature, then you are sick. You are not swastha. You are not healthy. If someone is not healthy, very simple thing. If someone is not healthy, how can he will be happy? If someone has headache and you are going laughing club, someone has stomachache, someone has cancer, there is so much pain and we want to make him happy, be happy, laugh, not possible. So not possible. Shankaracharya says, your ego is like a poison. If ego is with you, you cannot be healthy. You cannot be happy. Now, next one. अहमो अत्यंत निवृत्त्या तत्कृत नाना विकल्प संगृत्या प्रत्यक तत्व विवेकात् इदम अहम अस्मीति विन्दते तत्वम. I repeat one more time. अहमो अत्यंत निवृत्त्या तत्कृत नाना विकल्प संगृत्या प्रत्यक तत्व विवेकात् इदम अहम अस्मीति विन्दते तत्वम. The translation is, by the complete cessation of the ego sense, gained by restraining these diverse mental waves created by the ego itself, and through the discrimination of the innermost self, one experiences the reality as I am this. One more time translation. Through the complete cessation of the egoism, through the stoppage of the diverse mental waves due to it, and through the discrimination of the inner reality, one realizes that reality as I am this. In this verse, things have been said, which we have to do. One is complete cessation of ego. Second is all effects of egoism. And third is discrimination of yourself. And lastly, we will get its result. First is cessation, complete cessation of egoism. When cessation of egoism has done completely, this is the first. Here, we have to think some Yoga Darshan. In Yoga Sutra, Patanjali says what yoga is. He says, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga means the cessation of the modification of the mind. Very simple definition. Patanjali says, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga means the cessation of the modification of the mind, thought process. Tada drashtu sarupavasthanam. Then he says, having done cessation of the thought, then the seer established his own nature. And further he says, vritti sarupyam itaratra. In other state, when mind is not stopped, thought process is going on. In that state, the seer identify itself with the thoughts. Three sutras are very important. In very beginning, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, Tada Drashtu Sarupyavasthanam, Vritti Sarupyam Itaratra. These three sutras are very important for here. Then we can understand this what Shankaracharya is trying to say. So Patanjali says, if you can do that, the completely thought process you can stop. You have done yoga. So all thought process, Shankaracharya ji says another way. We have to understand a subtle difference between yoga method and method here which Shankaracharya ji has been explained here. Here is subtle difference and very, very important. Very, very important. The difference is in yoga method, Patanjali says you just stop your thought process. Thought process. Shankaracharya ji going some deeper, much deeper. He says, yes, you stop the thought process, but thought process is an effect. It is not root. Thought process is effect. Effect of ego. Here, as I told you, we have three work to do. One is cessation of ego. Another is cessation of its effect. So thought process is its effect. Understand it attentively. Patanjali says, stop thought process. Chitta vritti nirodha, modification of the mind. And you have done. Shankaracharya says, yes, it is to be done. But this is second. Roots are in deep. If you cannot cut the roots, you cannot stop the effects. Effects will come in another shape. stops, you cannot stop them. They will come. That is why the problem with the yogis, very problematic meditation. They try to stop mind and nothing is happening. In Gita, Lord Sri Krishna was giving yoga to Arjuna, but Arjuna says it is very difficult. At the most impossible. चंचलम ही मना कृष्ण प्रमाथि बलवदृढ़म तस्याहम निग्रहम मन्ये वायु रिवसु दुष्करम. It is like someone want to control cyclone. No one can control cyclone. Every mind has cyclone, more powerful cyclone. Sri Krishna says, yes, it can be done, but very difficult. So yogic way is from second level. Here Shankaracharya says, Tatkrit Nana Vikalpa. Tatkrit Nana Vikalpa. Nana Vikalpa, so many thoughts. The root is ego. So Shankaracharya says, you have to cut first ego. You remove ego. Then take another step. Then comes its effect. And if you succeed to cut roots, its effect will go automatically. Automatically. You try to cut roots, uproot them. But in yoga, we do always how to control our mind, how to become thoughtlessness. They are doing very tough work. I'm not saying they are wrong. Shankaracharya is more effective. He says, this is effect. So just remove the roots. A root is ego. Ahamo atyant nivritya. Shankaracharya says, aham, the ahankar, the ego, when you cut the ego, tatkrit nana vikalp sangritya, then all its effect, every thought, will go away. You cannot remove one by one thoughts, remove, you cannot. Just cut the root, remove the ego, then thought will not come. If thought will come, every thought will leave its effect, our mind. It may be good, it may be bad. Either it may cause for little happiness or misery. And we modification, and we are bound to be happy and miserable. So that is why sometimes thoughts comes, I am happy. Next time thought comes, I am unhappy. I am angry. I am in peace. I am relaxed. I am so and I am so. We are identify ourselves with a particular thought. See, very subtle topic. And thoughts are not permanent. Any thought is not permanent, just momentary. Or just a single moment. That is why you cannot catch the thought. Thought appears or same time disappears too. You cannot catch the thought. Any thought is not permanent, so our identifications are also not permanent. We always change our identity. And according to our identity, we feel sorrow and misery. So, Shankaracharya says, Amo atyant nivritya tatkrit nana vikalpa sangitya pratyak tattva vivekat. Space will be available. Now we are not, we are very busy. We have no time. Sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm miserable, sometimes I'm in peace, sometimes I'm angry. I'm not available. If you have cut your ego, then thought process will stop automatically. Then you will think, what next? What next? I have done no ego. I am egoless. And because there is no ego, then there is no thought. Thought may be there, but there is no identification. Then thought will come, who am I? Pratyak tattva viveka. Then you can decide, I am now fresh. Still I was as a body, as a jiva, as a father, as a mother, as a sister, as a human being. Now I am just presence. I'm just presence. Vindate tattvam, then the seeker can achieve this reality. Now next one. Ahankare kartar ahamiti matim muncha sahasa विकारात्मन्यात् प्रतिफलजुषी स्वस्थितिमुषिः यदध्यासात् प्राप्ता जनिमृति जरा दुःख बहुला प्रतीचश्चिन्मूर्ते तव सुखतनु संसृतिरियम्. I repeat one more time. अहंकारे कर्तरि अहमिति मतिम मुंच सहसा विकार आत्मनि आत्मनि प्रतिफल जुषी स्वस्थिति मुषि यदध्यासात् प्राप्ता जनिमृति जरा दुःख बहुला प्रतीचश्चिन मूर्तेस्तव सुखतनु संसृति दियो. The translation. Renounce immediately your identification with the ego sense, the sense of doership, which being a modification is merely a reflection of the self. It distracts you from being established in the self. Identifying yourself with this false sense, you have reached this embodied existence full of misery of birth, decay, and death. Although you essentially are the witness, the essence of knowledge is absolute. Say the translation again. Give up immediately your identification with egoism, the agent which is by its nature a modification, which is endued with the reflection of the self, diverts one from being established in the self, identifying yourself with the which you have not come by his relative existence, full of the miseries of birth, decay, and death. Though you are the witness, the sense of essence of knowledge and bliss absolute. Here, Shankaracharya ji clearly, very clearly, instructions giving, he is giving instructions very clearly, very directly, give up immediately, identification with ego. The main work is disidentify yourself from the ego. And further, he's giving reason why. Why should one give up the identification? He says because this identification is cause for doership. Agent. This, what does the identification with the ego? When you identify yourself with the sense organs, then doership will come. I am doing, I am watching. And actions are happening somewhere else. Actions are happening in the hand, in the ears, in the feet, in the tongue. But due to identification with ego, doership takes place in Atman. Really, which is not doer. And this ego always undergo through the changes. Worship comes our Gita, Atman, and this doership always changes. This ego is not fixed. Not fixed. Sometimes we have ego of the one thing. Another time we have ego another thing. We have ego now, I am child. For sometimes ego will change. I am young. Sometime ego will change. I am old age. So Shankaracharya says, because of this identification, ahankare kartari ahamiti matim munch. Just renounce it, give up it. And this is the vikaratmak. Vikarat always it changes, not fixed. And atma pratiphala. This ego has reflection of the consciousness. We are Vedantic, so you can easily understand that here Shankaracharya is talking about Chidabhas. When there is reflection, reflection is beautiful. But in reflection, we can forget our real nature. So it says, Atma Pratiphala Joshi. Atma Pratipal. This is a reflection of the Atman. Yad adhyasat praptaha. And because of this superimposition, you are different, you are real. Reflection is different, it is unreal. It looks like you, but even it is a reflection. Jan Imriti das jara mritu dukkha bahula. So Shankaracharya says, seeker, oh Murti, very beautiful address. Very beautiful address. Very rare. He says, O Chinmurti, of pure knowledge. You are embody of knowledge. Nothing is other than knowledge. You are pure knowledge. O Chinmurti. And there is Sukhatano. You are embody of the happiness. You are, it means happiness should be there. If there is no happiness, it means you are not there. It does not happen. You are there and happiness is not there. It is not possible. So he says, because of superimposition, you experiences I was born, I will die, I am young, I am old, and so many miseries is in my life. You could not be unhappy. No way. Your nature is happiness. Like fire is hot. If fire is there, hot is there. So if you were there, then happiness must be there. If there is no happiness, it means you are not there. You are somewhere else. There may be Jivatma, there may be gross body, there may be subtle body, there may be mind, there may be sense organs, but you are not there. Your nature is Sankaracharya Sukhatanu. You are happiness. So just give up the identification with the ego, then see. Give up the identification of the big ego. You are not gross body, you are not subtle body, you are not organs. Then see. O Sukhamurthe, Chintanu, your presence is proof that you are happy. If you are not happy because of ego, you are identified with something else. So just give up the idea of ego and be happy. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Vadarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namah. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.